Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back after a week's break due to technical difficulties.
Literally technical difficulties. So, yeah, we weren't just being lazy bitches.
Yeah, I mean, we are, but we weren't being that time. This is so random, yeah. But how many Houses of Parliament are there?
I thought there were like 4, 3.
Because
2, 1.
I was under the impression that there was the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and that was that, right? And then I was watching an episode of Arrested Development, yeah. Basically, they were just they mentioned that the House of Parliament, and then the guy, the narrator, was like, no, Michael was like, you know, the episodes where he's with the woman who's like mentally, yeah. So
Charlize Theron, yeah.
Yeah, so he was like, oh, how many Houses of Parliament are there? And she says 7. And then the narrator's like, no, actually, there's 3. And I was like, 3? What's the third one? What's the third one? House of Commons, House of Lords, and then?
House of People.
House of Aja. Like, I literally was like, who? What is the last one? I don't really know. But yeah, so yeah. I don't know. But I just thought I would ask because I thought, am I the only one who's like really a fake Brit? Or
no.
Okay, so the two of us.
And I find our politics like a bit confusing as well.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
I just go and vote.
I don't know why it can't. You don't vote, did you say?
I said, I just go and vote when they tell me to vote.
Yeah. I don't know why it can't just be the person with the most votes wins and keep it simple.
Listen, it's when they did that coalition when Lib Dems and Conservatives were doing pally. I was like, wait, but if not, you'd be the same party. You're clearly not the same party. So what? So what are you coalescing?
But even America is kind of confusing as well because like you need electoral vote,
the
colleges.
Yeah.
Fam, just let the man with the most votes win. Like what the hell is or woman?
No. Yeah.
Or they, them. Whichever way you identify.
Person, human. Being.
Yeah.
So this week we are doing the documentary Because We Are Girls. And trigger warning in advance because there's sexual assault and niggers, right? But this documentary did not need to be this long. It didn't need to be this long. It didn't.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, no. Do you know what it is? It wasn't a documentary. It was a movie. I went up and I read up later. It was actually a movie. And if as a movie, it was fine because I get what they were trying to do.
I understand it too.
There's a movie on Netflix that's like this. Is called The Perfect Girl or something like that. And it's like it's an Indian, like it's based in India and it follows like 2 different women as they from 2 different homes as they progress through like the marriage and the kind of woman you need to be to marry and at the age where you're being pressured into marriage and stuff. So it's like, I get what they were trying to do. So I just think for our purposes, it was excessively long and like, what the hell? But as a movie, I would have enjoyed watching it. If I was watching this for like just watching sake, I would have actually enjoyed it. But yeah.
I didn't not enjoy it. I just thought it was, because there's so many topics to cover and so many things. Like I think this movie was definitely necessary and I'm happy that it exists. It was just long. And also this episode is going to seem like it's all over the place, like we're just jumping from here to here because that's just how it was.
That's how it was.
That's just how the movie was. And it's like I really just feel like I don't know that they set out to create a movie. I think it just became a movie because they just had so much footage and things were happening and maybe halfway through they were like, oh, do you know what, let's record this. I don't know. It's a bit higgy-hagger. But ultimately, like, I'm happy it exists. Maybe that's the way I can put it. Like, would I watch it again? No. I'm happy it exists, is what I would say. But yeah, so we meet GT, who is the middle daughter of 3 girls. They also have a brother. We found that out later, but they have a brother. So it's three girls and the guy. I think the brother's the youngest one. So they're Punjabi, they're living in British Columbia. And I was like, where the fuck is British Columbia, yeah? And I realised, obviously, it's Canada. But it was confirmed to me that it was Canada. Yeah, Canada. Oh, also, guys, I'm drinking today. It's so funny. We're going to get back to the documentary in a second. This forensic girl, yeah, was wived one day, yeah? And she was like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to start drinking on the pod again. Because I feel like me drinking on the pod, yeah, it does not go unnoticed. I feel like some of you guys out there do appreciate the fact that I'm drinking, because that's how this started. So before I get onto her, let me tell you what I'm drinking. I've gone back to the classic. I think I finished the port now. Oh no, the port's still there. Okay. I've gone back to my apple and amaretto, apple juice and amaretto. Nice basic staple. It's a school night, you know. Keep it simple, you know.
It's way too sweet. There's way too much going
But you
on
know I
there.
have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, but that's
apple juice
excessively.
and
That's
two ingredients.
yesterday's sticky toffee pudding sweet.
No, that was sickly sweet. This isn't sickly sweet.
I had one bite and I could feel my teeth, like, you know, your teeth.
I actually went home. I went home and I brushed my teeth. That's what the first thing I did. Yeah,
Gosh.
But the cavities, I'm sure it's too late. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm drinking, guys. So you know, just so you know. She was like to me, yeah, you know, I'm gonna start drinking on the pod again. I've become a lightweight, like blah 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 blah. Ask her what she's drinking. If it's not Kirkland water, then I don't know what it is. Is it even anything?
It's Nestle water, actually.
Wow, she's even downgraded.
Finished.
Anyway, I knew it was Canada. It was confirmed to me when she said about. She said about, and when she said about, I was like, okay, so this is Canada for sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like this is, yeah.
So
this ain't the Canada Michael went to.
This isn't the Canada Michael went to. No, it sure isn't. So they are living in British Columbia, and then we hear the voiceover saying of her, GT, saying that her wedding day is the best day of her life. She couldn't wait to like leave home and leave this dark secret behind. So at this point, we don't know what the dark secret is. But I'm sure you can imagine, because We Are Girls is the title. So you know. So we see home videos of her wedding, proper extravagant. It's like a proper Indian wedding. Like, you know how they like Bollywood weddings
typical.
look on TV, like proper. Like it's cute. It is cute. I'm not gonna lie.
Elephants. So then is it elephants that they ride?
I think it was elephant. I think there was an elephant. They were on an elephant, weren't they?
Yeah.
Was it an elephant? That seems a bit weird in Canada. Maybe it was a horse.
Maybe.
I don't remember. It was an animal with 4 legs. So next we meet Kira, and she's another one of the sisters. She seems like the outgoing, like outspoken one, the one with a bit of vim. They're talking about the racism they experienced as children. They were told to go home, you know, how they have greasy hair, how they didn't speak English well enough. And the eldest sister, it's really sad this bit actually, because the eldest sister kind of like, now even sometimes when she's around a white person, she kind of loses her English. Like she kind of clams up a bit because she's reminded of the times that, you know, she was around white people and they were telling her she couldn't speak English properly.
And her accent of all of theirs is the strongest. Yeah.
I reckon she was probably born in India.
They all were though.
Oh, were they? Were they born?
Other than the youngest, I think they all came.
Other than the boy.
The son,
right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. That means she was older, so she had because her accent is stronger than everyone else's. So anyway, this just reminded me that all roads lead to racism in this life. Basically.
Literally.
And that's on that. So there's lots of background information. They're building context. La 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 la. Cool. Then they mention Bollywood movies. And the effects that Bollywood movies. Yeah, their songs bang as well. I'm not gonna lie. They trust me. They talk about the effects that these movies had on their thinking. You know, like believing women must be submissive to men, beg for forgiveness, behave, be good. You know, so you can be chosen, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden we hear GT say,
"I was raped at 11 years old." It was a cousin. By my cousin, someone my parents trusted. And the day that man came into our house, we were told basically, this is your brother, you respect him, you call him Paji.
And at the same time that we're hearing this, and we're seeing a picture of her at 11 years old, and it really just breaks my heart. It's like your cousin, someone that your parents trusted to bring into the house, like because the cousin comes to stay with them, which is very, very normal for like loads of our cultures. That's not abnormal. Yeah. So he comes to stay. They're told, you know, this is your brother. Respect him.
Which again is normal.
Very normal. And literally, I feel like we can relate to this because our cultures are very similar in this respect.
Yeah.
And it's like so many times you have a random uncle, a random auntie or cousin or someone from church or just some random person come and stay in your house. Yeah. And it's a case where it's like, well, this person is here, so you're going to respect that person. And respect, I think, means obey. It's like almost synonymous with obey back in those days as a child. It's like whatever they say you do. They're older than you, they outrank you, you know, whatever they say goes. And friends, you already know how I feel about guests in my house. Like I already just, if anything, this has just confirmed that everyone should go back to their homes at the end of the night. But yeah, so it's not clear.
Except me.
Of course. I thought that goes without saying.
No, I just need to keep saying it because sometimes I'm not sure. So yeah.
That's the whole reason that I'm moving to a 2-bed, so that you have a room for yourself.
I'm just confirming for all to hear. Because that night, when everybody comes now and some other people want to sleep over, they need to just know that's my bed. Okay.
And then when you're in the country, then now, then I'll make sure that it's for you.
Nobody should sleep in that room if I'm not in the country.
Oh, of course. Oh, but of course.
Okay, cool.
I'll lock it. You keep the key.
Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
Much.
So it's not clear at this point, but I think the cousin raped basically the sisters, right? They don't explicitly say this, but that's where we're heading, it seems. And so one of the sisters says that she felt like it happened to her because she deserved it. Again, this is why victim blaming is very, very stupid. Because I guarantee you, those survivors are already blaming themselves. So we don't need you to jump on the bandwagon and chat shit when...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This stuff didn't happen to you.
And they do talk about just like rape culture in India and like the movies as well, and how they like kind of add to that culture, because there's a lot of submission and rape, and then it would always end with the woman like killing herself after being raped.
Yeah.
And then being shunned from like
shamed,
society. So there's already so much shame because of the culture as well.
Exactly. Of something that happened to you. I remember that news story in India where this girl was on the bus home with her boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
And they beat the boyfriend, and then they raped her, and they used a metal pipe, and she nearly died. I don't think that she died.
No, she died.
Oh, did
she died? And then one of the guys went to prison. And then basically his lawyer, obviously he had a lawyer that was working on getting him out, because I think it was like the death penalty or something because she died. But basically the lawyer was even saying, he did an interview and he was even saying that, well, at the end of the day, he doesn't know what all this fuss is about, that she shouldn't have been on the bus without a family, at that time without a family member. That if it was his daughter that happened to, that after they're done with her, he would like bring her to like the family like square or whatever, and like have her flogged in front of everyone for indecency. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? I just find the oxymoron of the country so weird, because it's kind of like Nigeria to me as well, where it's like you have this country where sex is so taboo. Women are expected to be chaste and all of this. Then you have these men that are so depraved and like do all this. Same thing in Nigeria. You'll have these like big uncles and men who touch little girls, and I'm not saying all of them do, by the way, so please don't come for me. I'm just saying that this stuff happens and it's not acknowledged. Abnormal. Yeah. Literally, it's not abnormal. Then you have like these, even the whole idea of having like these rich older men who go to like hotels with these young babes and stuff like that. It just speaks about like how it's the so underbelly normalized of the culture is so depraved, but like sex is something that's forbidden and taboo.
And also I think, and this is the thing, the problem with I think religion, because the whole be chaste and sex stuff is always like rooted in religion, right?
Yeah.
But then,
and it's always targeted at women.
Exactly, because it's like, how can you, like, what, like, and we've said this before on this podcast, there's nothing that anybody, man, woman, whoever, can do to deserve to be raped. Nothing. You can walk around naked. You can lay there on the street with your legs askew. That does not. It's not an invitation.
And the reason why people still say stuff like, "Oh, the way she dresses, or the way she does this or that," or the third, is because they don't grasp that rape is about power. It's not about the way you dress. It's not about it. It's about power. Because even if a girl's walking around naked, for you to feel like you have the entitlement to therefore have her, it's about power. It's not about.
It's always
sex.
Been about power.
Because there are repeat sex workers.
Sex with you. There's sex workers. There are girls who will have sex with you.
Yeah,
there's actually girls who have sex with you. Like it's not about. Yeah. It's like. Do you remember that thing on TikTok when they had the red filter with that challenge? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then guys would then.
And guys would then steal in the picture and removing the filter, and it's like, if you want to see naked women online, there are plenty.
But it's just disgracing you. They want to do.
It's because this woman didn't want you to see her, and therefore you decided this is who I want to see. It's fucked. Like it's a power thing. It's a power trip, and it's just like,
but
how can you come and?
Yeah, I don't know, because there's a documentary on Netflix. It's by Christina Amunpour. So I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she does. CNN.
That's it, CNN.
Yeah. And basically she just follows, she goes through India, and she talks about different aspects of like sexuality. And basically the long story short, like, is just that, like, so she talks like an Indian porn star. She talks like teenagers who are dating in India. She talks to, I've forgotten what their names are. I think they're hydras. That's what they're called. Basically they used to be worshipped as gods, but they're like trans women essentially. So they get to a certain age, they decide they want to be Hydra. I think that's what it's called. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing it. And then like a lot of them get like castrated. And then they go to they live in a temple, almost like a nun, but like you know, and then they're worshiping. It was just it was basically, she was interviewing a lot of them, and then they were just talking about how when like religion came and stuff like that, like they stopped being worshipped. Like now they're seen as like outcasts of society. It's not like a thing of like you know, before people used to bring them gold and money, and like they would be blessed. Yeah, like every wedding you had to have like these hydras at your wedding kind of thing. Now a lot of them have to turn to sex work for their upkeep.
So
they get shunned
from society now,
literally from society. Exactly. And then like how like even with that, like now, because like obviously there's the caste system as well, like now you'll notice that the a lot of the hydras are like darker people, the darker skinned, like so it's just, again, it's all about religion. Because like even in like Nigeria, I can only speak about Nigeria, I'm not gonna say in Africa, but I know in Nigeria a lot of the times like people used to be in some form of nudity, like especially women, like it wasn't a sexualized thing. But then religion came and told us that these things were wrong, like these natural kind of things that we did, and like sexuality was wrong. And I'm saying this from a Christian standpoint as well. Like it's very problematic, because like now some of the stuff that we see is like the fallout is like rape culture. So
it is it's very problematic, and it's just almost like, I don't know, I think it just breeds a lot of issues.
A magnitude
of issues, and it's just wild. Like
this is crazy.
This is crazy, and it gets crazier. So they've been raped, okay, by this cousin, and they don't say anything because they know that they'd be considered bad girls, and they'd get shipped back to India. And again, same culture. Did I tell you that time my parents were going to send me to Nigeria to go to school? Have I ever told you this? Like, I don't remember if I had to do an exam. I think I did. I don't remember. But either way, it's one of those schools where they cut your hair and you wear the dresses. So my parents were going to send me there for secondary school. And it's like, you might be listening to this thinking, oh, you're a bad girl. I was an amazing child. Like, I was very well behaved. And
so
I was
what
like, so what is
them?
the reason? I was like, I don't know. They just changed their mind. It's almost like it was a game of chicken that went too far, because I literally was like, wait, you have the paperwork. Wait, you filled out the forms. Wait, like, what is this? It was such a random week, like, honestly. But I did. School, and you went there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did do the whole boarding school spiel, but we'll leave it at that. It's an extremely traumatic experience. Don't do that to your kids.
Amen.
Just don't.
Amen. So there's 3 girls, as we mentioned before, and then the mum has a boy. And you know, in the culture, it's a blessing. It's like, oh, you've finally been rewarded for your good deeds with a son, which is just like,
bye.
I wish this was a visual medium, because I can't really portray my disdain with words alone. But yeah, this is nothing new. This is not specific to the Indian culture.
This shit ain't new. Yeah.
This just is what it is. They love a Y chromosome. But yeah, so GT says that soon after my brother was born, it was good vibes. It was like, yay, we have a son, everything's great, and then the cousin comes, and then it's bad vibes. They also mentioned this Indian custom called Rakhi, and basically the sisters celebrate their brothers. It's like it happens every year, and I think that's why they were really happy as well about having a brother, because now they can take part in Rakhi. And then they like wish the brother well, like, oh, brother, whatever, and then they tie a bracelet on his wrist. And I was really proud of myself, because I already knew about this when they were mentioning it, because I watched an episode of Married to Medicine, and they have this like new Indian girl on there called Anila, and one of her scenes was her children doing Rakhi with their brother, and I was like, oh, this is really cute. Like, then it made me kind of sad, and I was like, oh, I wish I had a brother. Not that I would be doing Rakhi, but like, I kind of wish I had a brother.
So the girls don't get anything. Just
no. The girls don't get anything. Yeah, the girls basically celebrating. Oh, well, yeah, I know. But
so what if you only have boys? Then who Rakhis who?
There's no Rakhi. That's what I'm saying. They couldn't Rakhi until they had the brother. Yikes. It's like you wouldn't be able to Rakhi. I wouldn't be able to Rakhi.
So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
They can Rakhi me, fam.
Rakhi, make him wanna Rakhi me. Put him on to make him wanna Rakhi me. Where were we? Wow, just trying to lighten the mood, you know. So yeah, okay. The mum tells us that when she got to Vancouver, she sponsored all of the family to come one by one. So like her sisters, their families, and then they live with her. They get on their feet, and I really love this about the ethnics. Well, maybe not the blacks. I don't think we do that very well. But like I know Indian people do it really, really well.
No, I mean, we had this conversation before. I love it as long as it's not putting your own family at a detriment, which it often
Of course,
is.
which obviously it often is. But what I like about it is
Yeah.
that in terms of like, okay, cool, we all live here, we're saving for a house, cool. Now you have a house, cool. We're all saving. Now you have a house. Like basically, it's like wealth begets wealth. So
Oh
it's like
yeah,
yeah,
obviously
it may
that
seem
aspect of it.
yeah. So that's what I mean, and it's kind of like, you know, like okay, cool, everyone's kind of winning at the end of it. So it's all like for something, as opposed
I
to
just
our
yeah.
culture where people come to your house and there's less than when they gain. Like who
Yeah.
benefited because it wasn't you. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I get what you mean. Like if it's to the detriment of your kids, which it was in this case, then I don't really fuck with it. So yeah, the mum admits that she didn't devote the time to her kids that she should have, and looking back, she feels that this wasn't right. So basically, she's saying, you know, she should have faced her front and focused on her man and her kids. And I'm proud of her that she even has the self-awareness to
Yeah, because a lot of
think of
parents
this.
don't.
A lot of parents are guilty of this and don't have the self-awareness. Like you're everyone's mum except for the ones you actually birthed. Like it's wild to me.
Can we also mention how like the oldest ones, I can't pronounce the name,
I wrote it down.
Salakshana, how like she gets married at 18 and it's like to a guy that just wanted to come to Canada, and he actually told her like she wasn't pretty, it was just an arranged marriage. And also just another like thing as well that shocked me, well not shocked me, but her parents literally got married because her father's family needed domestic help.
It's wild, isn't it?
Like hire a fucking like cleaner. Like, are you kidding me?
It's so wild, like looking at this from like our eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is remarkable. Like I want to do a study on the psychology, because it's almost like what, like
yeah, like how
and maybe
we're
here? Speaking from a place of privilege as well, being born and raised here, because if or having like these not only just the culture as in the Western world or whatever, but also the times that we're in. Because I do feel like even in Nigeria, like a lot of people our age think similarly to the way we think, despite being raised in Nigeria,
in a different
where
country,
you'd expect where you'd expect the customs to be different or whatever. So I think I just, like Decky said, Molly the maid, just get one of them, because I just don't, it's not me, or pay me then, if that's what you...
Literally.
Yeah. I don't think, though, the mum should blame herself for the daughters being raped, okay? Because it's like, yes, you're the one who brought him into the house, but he is the one that did the raping. It's like, should we then blame the pilot for flying the plane that took him there? Should we then blame his mother for whatever? Do you get what I mean? So it's like, really and truly, the only person that we should blame is
the
him,
perpetrator.
And then also society, which is not a person, but society too, gets a little honorary mention in this. So, she says all of this, basically. She says it in Punjabi, so that's why I haven't like inserted it. But yeah, sorry to any Punjabi speaking listeners. I know you would have understood, but you know,
yeah, soz babes.
So we're at the Supreme Court, and this is what I mean by like, is Higgy Haggard? Like, when did we get to court? Like, where are we? Like, what happened? How did we get here?
Yeah, literally, how did the case even get to,
like, you haven't even really said out loud that you've been raped.
What's happened?
And here we're at the Supreme Court, like, okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, we meet the younger brother, the only brother, who says that he saw the older cousin as an older brother and admired him. So, you know, it really hurts to know that he did this to his sisters. Okay, fair. So Jiti says she came out because she saw a picture. Oh yeah, okay. When I say she came out, I mean like she basically spoke up about what happened to them. Let me be clear.
Not out of the closet.
Not out of the closet.
Well, I decided to come out because I witnessed something that basically instantly told me that this person is still active in abusing girls. I saw a picture. My sister Gita showed it to me. And the minute I saw the picture, I became very nauseous.
So she kind of spoke up about everything because she saw a picture of their abuser with his arm around a girl, and that let her know all she needed to know. She was like, this man is still
He's still at it.
He's still at it. So she's like, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to tell. And then her mum is like, no, don't tell. Which, we'll get into this because this comes up again later. Hell breaks loose with this situation. They want to have a sit down and confront the guy and basically be like, you did this, blah, blah, blah. Does it ever happen? No. Do we ever see it? No. They just
No.
mentioned it one time and then that was that. We learn more about the abuse. Okay, so again, just reiterating the trigger warning. This cousin would rape them daily. Bearing in mind, there are 3 of them. Like, how
So he
depraved do you have to
literally,
be? That, like, you don't want to just ruin one person. You don't want to just take advantage of one person. That's not enough for you.
and it's every day 3 of them.
Every day, 3 of them. What is it? Like, literally, like, every day, early, they said it would either be early in the morning or late at night when everyone else was basically asleep. And she explains that it was grooming, and she explains it really, really well.
You're in shock. You get up the next day, you don't know what's happened to you. Then it happens again, and then it happens again. And this whole grooming process makes it so normal, and it makes it a part of your routine. There's a routine to this. So then it becomes ingrained inside you. It becomes a part of the pathway to your brain. This is what you are supposed to do. You are supposed to brush your teeth. This is going to happen to you. It'll take a few minutes. Then you go on, comb your hair, get your clothes on, pick up your backpack, and go to school.
And she says, it happens time and time again. It becomes part of your routine. Like, you don't even see it as something that's wrong or weird because it's like, oh, you wake up, brush your teeth, get raped, go to school, come back home. Like, which is just like,
It's
honestly,
so sad.
it's really sad. It's awful. And then Kira explains the abuse that she received, and you can still see, like, when she's talking, you can just see how confused she is about the whole thing. Like, what even was this? At her big age now, like, imagine what she was like or what she was thinking. At the age that she was. Can you imagine? And she's the youngest one. And what's her name? GT was 11. So that means that Kira was less than that. Like,
The depravity is scary.
it's just like ill. So the parents were saying they shouldn't go to the police because the rapist will deny it and blame them. And they're also aware of this. Again, society, culture, whatever. And that's why they didn't tell the parents earlier. That's why they didn't report it in the first place, because it's like, oh, it's going to be my fault. And I think that's why your point about the whole Bollywood movies and all that stuff comes into play. Because it's like, I have been taught that I'm a bad girl. I'll be deemed bad. It's my fault. It's my fault. So let me not say anything because I will get in trouble,
Yeah.
So GT tells her husband, so GT and they're the ones that we see their wedding in the beginning. They're so in love, great marriage, blah, blah, blah. GT tells, and also maybe I should mention that he basically left his family for her because they didn't re-rate her. And so
they didn't prove.
he gave up his family for her. And so GT tells her husband that she's been abused back in the day. And she says that he doesn't even look her in the eye, which as a victim, it just makes her feel like, right, so basically you are looking at it like it's my fault, like I did something wrong.
That's why you can't look me in the eye, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I don't know, man, that must really hurt. Like, we're in this now,
really
we're married,
hurt.
we have kids, like, rah. Yeah, I don't think I could say what the right reaction is to that kind of news, but that is a wrong reaction.
Yeah, not looking the person in the eye is definitely the wrong reaction.
And it must have been so difficult for her to even, like, tell him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, tell anyone it would be difficult. What more like your partner?
Yeah.
And then, But then at the same time, I don't know. Yeah.
What?
Let's just say people deal with things differently.
No, of course.
Yeah.
So let's quickly talk about the concept of virginity. Okay. So the eldest sister, Salakshana, says,
this is heartbreaking.
First night of my wedding, I didn't sleep. To him, it was important to have a virgin wife. I wasn't virgin because I was abused in my dad's home. So that's the first thing he wants to do, is to check if I bled the bed or not. And then he told my mom that he disappointed at me because I'm not virgin. Then I told mom, why do I have to sleep with this guy if I don't even like him, he doesn't like me? And I go, I feel like I'm getting raped over and over.
And she says she feels like she's getting raped over and over again. And it's like they basically say to her, like, fam, this is your husband, you have to sleep with him. And then she does, and she gets pregnant, and she has a daughter as a result. And we'll get into her feelings about her daughter as a result. But back to the idea of virginities, I feel like virginity is a social construct
Big
designed
time.
to keep women in line, okay? Because even the phrase like, oh, so-and-so took my virginity, I've always hated that phrase. Like, even since I was in school, like, it just sounds so aggressive and violent to me. Like, I took your virginity. Even that Vybz Kartel song, like, okay, it's tune, but it's like, it just never, I always just felt like, do you get what I mean? It's like, I feel like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I lost my virginity. It should just be like, oh, the first time I had sex, or I had sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it just sounds so like, it just like, I don't know. And then it's like the concept of virginity, like that doesn't differentiate between whether the first time you experienced sex, and to be honest, it's not even sex because you were raped, in it. It's like they by the
lump it all
definition of
together.
virgin, they're not virgins, right? But it's like
Yeah.
they didn't choose to have sex. They didn't choose that
Yeah.
encounter. It was
Yeah.
taken from them. It was forced upon them. So it's like if it was like, okay, cool, I made my sexual debut, or this was the first time I had sex, that I chose to have sex, then they are still virgins. Do you get what I mean? I don't know. It just feels wrong with me. And like, there was a TikTok of this guy, one of these like insults. I don't know if it was you that sent it to me, or maybe it was my sister. And it was like, the guy was like, oh, the reason why it's terrible if like a girl has 10 bodies and I have 10 bodies is that
Oh my God.
I had to go out there and take it. I had to go out there and get it. But as a woman, you're just there, and it just gets taken from you. And I was like, but do you see?
I just know he has a tiny dick.
A tiny brain in the first instance. Like, it's like, I just feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just so problematic to me. Like, I hate that phrase. I hate it so much. Like, they were violated, they were raped, they did not have sex.
Yeah,
I mean?
I just feel like you're either sexually active or you're not. Like, and also, like, even the concept of checking if someone's a fucking virgin. Not everybody bleeds. And also, like, let's really get into it about why, like, virginity is used to keep women in check. Because there's no way you will know if a man has has had sex or not. Kind of thing. You literally, like, and on top of it, like, all the checks, quote unquote, of virginity are geared towards women. Oh, she's loose, or oh, like she didn't bleed when she had sex. So again, it just shows you that this is just a social construct to put. And then also on top of it, like, okay, there are people who like literally will have like, for lack of like, sorry to just say this, but there are people who will have like anal sex, for example.
Yeah, in order to avoid...
to avoid, like, their hymen breaking. So you're telling me that person is still a virgin, but then if somebody has had, like, penetration... So it's absolute bullshit.
It's abstract.
You're either sexually active or you're not. Like, all this stuff of virginity, what it means, the flower, losing my virginity, gave him my virginity, took the virginity. You didn't take shit. There was no flower that was plucked. Like, there was literally, like, it's just... And this is why I always advocate to young women, don't like put sex on a pedestal. Don't like romanticize. I'm not, if you do end up losing your virginity to a person to spend the rest of your life with, and it's beautiful, and suddenly out of somewhere Brian McKnight pops out and starts singing, and then like you saw the heaven, the stars, the oceans and the mountains, like making sweet love. Cool, amazing, congrats, that's great. But do not like sit there and romanticize, and don't put like certain like limits on yourself on what it should be. Like, the only things you need to be are comfortable, trust the person, and be ready. As long as those 3 things are in place, do your thing. It doesn't matter if he's your boyfriend or if he's a friend that you've known for ages, or if like you're not really feeling him too tough, but you just want, like, as long as those 3 things are in place, all other things are...
And that's the thing. I think that it's very important that you realize that like the choice is yours. It is your choice. You have very much have a say in what is happening with your body. Like the choice is yours. You choose. You can decide yes or you can decide no. And like people need to respect that regardless. So there's virginity, that word, we need to throw it in the bin. Honestly, it should be reserved for cocktails, and that is it.
Yeah, guys, also, by the way, like, obviously, like, it's raining, like, fucking Noah's Ark in this bitch.
It's not raining where I am, you know.
Yeah, so you'll hear the raindrops. Please just, trudge through. Yeah, it's raining here. If anyone knows anyone that's building an ark, please, like, let me know. Because I ain't trying to, like, go outside.
It has rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Like, what is going on? And it's May. It's the end of May. That's ridiculous.
Shit ain't letting up.
That is ridiculous. I'm tired of this country, man. Just joking. Give me my passport. Just joking. Before
Priti Patel's listening, like, with her fucking Anthony Mackie cheek. She's like, oh, I got you, bitch.
So yeah, you can tell
edit that shit out. I don't want to be deported.
No, we don't take it. Then you got your passport. You literally just got your passport fresh. You even have the new one. It's me I should worry about.
Okay, guys, it's not like my first passport. I just got a renewed passport before they think like, oh, I've been living here.
No, but
legally.
I mean the new one is in like the ex-EU one.
Oh yeah.
So what does that mean that we
Post-EU.
can't stand in that line anymore? The EU line.
We ain't in the EU.
That's
I literally feel like pure
rude.
shit. I just want my burgundy back.
That is weird. That line is so quick as well, you know.
Bam.
You'd be seeing the losers lining up for time, and you'd be like, see,
literally, now we're gonna be with the
we're gonna be the losers. We're gonna be the losers. And I just feel like they should ask you what you voted, because I voted to remain. So I reckon if I had to say, look, I wanted to stay, then they should be like, all right, cool, sis. Like, we hear
I know. I don't know why the EU can't just let a few of us that want to be part of it back in.
Yeah.
Why do we have to follow the fucking... And just the saddest thing about it is seeing all these people that voted leave come out. No, not even dying. It's them coming on and saying that, they didn't realise what it really meant, and can we have another referendum? Are you fucking stupid?
So this is the thing, because even at the time, when people were chatting shit, I was like, listen, if you don't know what to do, or if you're confused or whatever, then just vote to remain, because then things will stay the same. You're fine with how they are, so just vote to remain. Things will stay as they are. Keep it pushing. Maybe we reconsider this in another couple of years. But like, you're voting to leave based on absolutely nothing, based on propaganda, based on 250 million has been taken from the NHS. Where is that 250 million now?
I just don't understand how this could ever have been left to this public's, like, in their hands. There should have been like a serious IQ test done before people could vote that.
Yeah, but you think they won't do that when people are about to have kids? You think they're going to do that when they're to do? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, it's not like I'm going anywhere anytime soon, so whatever. Hopefully whatever. So you can tell Shana didn't want to have a child. The child they made her have. Okay? And her daughter also felt it. And like, it all makes sense to her now, knowing the whole story and things. I think that having kids, because it's the culture, is not it. It's so funny, we're having this conversation based on a conversation that I had with my dad. And I feel like... like, just because of culture and tradition, that's not enough for you to now decide to bring life onto this earth. Like, I understand that, it's what's been happening for generations. There's more than enough people on this earth, first of all. So don't let that be the reason that you decide you want to have a child. But also, don't let it be pressure from dead people. Like, just because your grandpa and grandparents and then great-grandparents and everyone did... Like, it doesn't... That's not a reason, because that child... may or may not suffer because you didn't want them to be there in the first place. It could work out great. Like, you could have been like, I fucking don't want a child. And then you have a child, your heart of ice melts, and then you're like, wow, oh my God.
I love you so much.
Amazing.
Wow.
Exactly. Literally. So, I think the culture is not the reason to have a kid. In my personal opinion, it doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Kira, the youngest, she's decided not to have kids. She doesn't want a partner. And this is because she struggles with trusting people. And she says this thing is really, really sad.
Even being able to have a sexual relationship physically, it's sometimes impossible just because the way your body reacts. When you get assaulted sexually, and then you have to use the same sexual organs for your pleasure, it's not easy, right? Because every time you're having sex, you're being reminded of sexual assault. So you have to figure out, okay, how do I get to a point where it's okay and I'm safe?
And I think that's not something that I've ever thought of. Like, we know that...
I think about that all the time.
Yeah, sexual abuse is wrong and everything, but it's like, wow, like, even trying to have sex, like, for pleasure, it's like, okay, but this
hasn't
is
always
how, been a pleasurable experience.
Yeah.
Especially from, like, it's so fucked. It's like, people like...
It's sad that these girls didn't get therapy when they needed it.
Yeah, I just, and this is what I can't understand, like, the rapist apologists, or the people who try and blame the victims. Like, it's like, do you see how deep this runs? And again, back to your point about it not being about sex, it's about power. Like, to really tear somebody down, like, for years. Because it's not just, you raped the person, then they got on with it.
Yeah, you literally did this day after day after day for their formative years. It's very scary.
I hate this man so much, honestly. So okay, they have this sit down,
Oh God.
and I really do wish that more of it was in English. I feel like if you watch any part of this, watch this bit. So they have this sit down and they're basically getting on to their parents. Like, we told you this was happening. You knew it was happening and you didn't do what we felt that you should do when you found out. So
Yeah,
you
and
lot
it's
feel more
also very grey area about if the parents were aware of this abuse, like before,
I think
like
they
the
were
picture.
aware. I don't know that they were aware at the time. It was, to be honest, who
Yeah,
knows what they knew when they knew it. But
yeah,
essentially they knew, innit? They knew, they found out at some point,
yeah,
right? And I don't care if, okay, I'm not gonna even speculate in my imagination. Say, for example, I had a dog and my dog was like raped by another dog. Okay.
yeah,
Whether I find out today or I find out in 5 years' time, I'm going to
yeah,
that dog and it's over. It's
yeah,
curtains.
literally, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not about, oh yeah, my child was 11 and now they're whatever. Like, literally, if I find out that you raped my dog 10 years after you did it, it's
Then
curtains.
it's
It's still the
curtains,
same
yeah.
curtains that it would have been if I found out on the day. Do you know what I mean? But it's like they found out and it just seemed like, oh, don't tell anyone where, they would say, and this is how I know they knew at the time, because they said that the parents were like, oh, they would say, look, just don't sit next to him, just stay away from him.
That's
What
what I'm
does that
saying. They
even
must have
mean?
known something dodgy was going on.
At the time, yeah. And so Kira's like, fam, I'm asleep in my bed and he comes to touch me. Like, what do you mean stay away from him? What do you mean don't sit next to him?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Did you ever sit him down
And tell him.
say, you touch my daughters even once, I'm gonna wait till you see what I do to you. I'm gonna cut your balls off. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Did you sit down and ever say that to him? So you're telling me 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old girls should be worried about somebody who's in your house and that they were sitting beside them and you were scared. So why didn't you sit him down and say to him, well, obviously it was something.
Did you ever threaten him? Where was your vim for me as a child being abused by this person that you brought into our house?
Yeah.
It's like all this energy. Like, you need to have the energy for this grown man, not for a 12-year-old saying,
Not
"Oh,
for kids.
what did you like?" It's just this scene is so infuriating because it's just like, what is wrong with you? Like, do you not
Yeah.
see? It's like, in
parents,
Bird Box
well,
when they're like
especially
opening their eyes. It's like,
Yeah.
can you?
The dad especially seemed very unmoved by the whole
The
thing.
dad, do you know what? Let me not cuss somebody's parent, but he was trash. So the dad is like, oh, it's not a matter of being scared. You accuse us of this. Are you yourself not at any fault? And I would play this for you, but he says it in Punjabi. He says, are you yourself not at any fault? And I swear to God, I wanted to throw my laptop.
I
Like,
literally wanted
he
to
says they
jump
have
in and strangle
responsibilities.
him.
I wanted to the mum has sense, because the mum looks at him like, okay, now you're doing a lot. Like, but I was like, what? So what responsibilities did I have then? It's you that had the responsibility to protect
Literally,
me.
you were the parent. You brought this person into the house.
And you brought
told me
them.
to respect everything he says and does, and then
Exactly.
you're telling me that I had some responsibility to do fucking
To do what? To do what? What was my responsibility?
It's a sad state of affairs.
It really is. And so Kira's like flaming her parents, right? And Kira has the most vim, and I
She does
feel it.
Dracarys.
So okay.
Game of
do you know what?
Thrones.
Yeah, I know. I figured. Yeah, I figured. So
Dracarys.
okay. So Kira's kind of like, you guys brought me into this world, yeah, unprovoked. I'm tired of these ends. So Kira's like, you people brought me to this world, and you're supposed to protect me, provide for me, at the very least. Like, that's the bare minimum, because I didn't ask to be here, yeah? I'm violated repeatedly under your watch, and you didn't feel any need to reprimand the person who did this to me because of tradition, because of customs. It's like, I'm sorry, get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah.
Entirely.
Honestly, if you do want to watch this part of the documentary, watch
Yeah.
it. But like, this scene is
Yeah.
like about an hour in
Yeah.
that you see the scene.
It's towards the end, so yeah.
Yeah. So the documentary is drawing to a close now. And ultimately they're basically saying, all of this happened and it was allowed to happen and continues to happen because they are girls. And they make a good point, and they're like, if this had happened to their brother, the dad would have gone ham. If that cousin had raped the brother, the dad would have gone ham. But they don't seem to care that much because they're girls. And the brother also, like, I didn't even write it because I was so pissed off at this point. The brother was kind of like, you know, trying to defend the
defending the
parents.
parents.
And I was like, oh,
And
you're
it's
fucking
understandable
stupid.
because it's clear that he's been pampered and he's everybody's favourite,
Yeah,
and
of
he
course.
he wouldn't see his parents as that bad because they probably have been there for him, supported him, loved him, and everything.
Yeah, they've been amazing parents to him. But it's like, at the beginning you were saying, oh, you know, it really hurt you that he did this to your sisters because you saw him as a brother. Okay, well, how can you then defend somebody
Blame your
who
parents.
is not?
Yeah.
Literally, blame them. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and like, Kira is, they literally are crying. Like, it's like Shauna's kind of over the shit. Like, she's just kind of like, okay, are we done?
She's like in her own world, like.
She is like, I have things to do. And then Kira is into, like, it's really heartbreaking. Like, Kira is in tears, like, not tears like, oh, cute cry, like bawling.
literally-
Like, yeah. Yeah.
Those tears.
Yeah, those tears. It's so sad. Like, ugh. Yeah. So Kira's going ham, and finally her mum gets up. She apologizes and she hugs her, and it's like this is the emotional support. Because there's one bit before where like they're basically saying like, you guys didn't support us in the way that we needed. You didn't support us, and that's when the brother's like, well, how were they supposed to support you? You know, they you know, kind of like, oh, you know, they fed you. They just did that, basically the bare minimum. And then they're like, no, emotional support. They're like, oh yeah, we asked you how you are. We did it. It's like, no, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, what
it's not
does
a
that
tick box
mean?
of things you need to do. Look at me and see what it is that I need. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's like, even
And
in that moment where
acknowledge what I'm going through.
acknowledge what I'm going through. Even in that moment where Kira was bawling and her mum just got up and hugged her, and it's like she just held her. And sometimes that is all you need.
That's all you need, yeah.
That's all you need in that moment. It's just, look, just understand what I'm going through, understand what I'm experiencing, why I feel the way I feel. I like it's like she was a child all over again.
Yeah.
Like, just wanting her mother. Like, it was, oh, it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. Like, proper sad. So the documentary is ending now. And on screen, I think we've done a great job in summarizing this documentary.
I think we couldn't have done it better.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half, guys. And okay.
We really gave it to you.
We gave it to you good and proper. So on screen text, it's April the 6th, 2018. 11 years after sexual violent crimes were reported to the police. So now we're finding out that basically it's reported to the police, right? And that's why they were doing up to Supreme Court and going whatever. So the defendant was convicted on 4 of the 6 charges of sexually abusing Jiti and Salakshana and their cousin Raj, right? But he was not found guilty on the 2 sexual charges against Kira.
That's
which is
weird.
like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? So you're kind of thinking, okay, do you know what? That's kind of fucked, but at least, you know, 4 out of 6.
He's in prison,
doing time. Hold your horses, because more on-screen text. Shortly after the judgment, the defendant filed a Section 11B chapter application, also known as the Jordan application, asking the court for a stay of proceedings, claiming his right to be tried in a timely manner had been breached. So basically saying, you man took too long, this doesn't count anymore, basically is what he's saying. And so then more on-screen text, on June the 10th, 2019. So April the 6th, 2018 is when he was convicted. June the 10th, 2019, his application for a stay of proceedings on account of delay was granted. So unless the Crown appeals this decision, the stay of proceeding ends. Basically, all the charges are dropped now. Because he basically said, well, I don't know what they call it. Is it limitations?
Statute of limitations.
That's it. The statute of limitations. That's what it sounds like to me anyway. Like,
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, this happened 11 years ago. Well, what were you going to do about it? That was ages ago. Time's up. Keep it pushing. That's what it seems like. So it's like nothing, like nothing, all of that and then nothing. Well, like, not nothing, because obviously we learned a lot. They've been able to, like, cathar or whatever, but not justice, which is what would have been great to have.
But the good thing is this movie lives forever, so we will always know what he is. I mean, we don't know him personally, but
I wish we knew who he was. They didn't show who he was, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't show who he was. It's probably legally they couldn't show who he was and his name.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
you know, because this movie lives forever, at least people in his community know exactly what he is.
But you know what scares me about that? Because that person, he's probably a husband, a father, a colleague.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A member of society. And he's depraved like that. Like, imagine finding out that your dad did something like that. It's like, I don't have a dad anymore then. I actually don't have a dad
Literally,
anymore.
I'm fatherless.
Like, honestly, it's so wild.
I don't
like,
think about it, yeah.
These people, that's what I'm saying, that these people, like, they are part of society. They play roles in the lives of other people on top of the rapist role that they've played. Do you get what I mean? It's just crazy. It's crazy.
sad.
Like, listen, believe victims. Believe children.
Yeah.
Just believe people, because it's just like,
It's too much.
And
yeah.
also, guys,
Oh,
men need to reprimand other men because men clearly like that they only respect other men for
yeah.
the most part. So they need to hear it from like their
Yeah,
kind.
man. Yeah. I don't know. It just reminds me of like the Joe Budden situation where like now that all this
they're
stuff has
getting
come
onto
out
him.
about, they're all getting on to him because like he like fucked over men, yeah. But this guy has been a known abuser of women, and like women have come forward saying
And
that this guy
animals.
put hands on them, and it was all like Ray Charles. And I'm so afraid that's what's gonna happen with T.I. and Tiny, because randomly I
that
went
is
on
what's gonna
Soulja Boy's
Even Soulja
Instagram,
Boy.
and like he posted, yeah, he's fucking abusive himself. He posted like a picture of T.I. calling him like, oh yeah, king. And I was just like, yeah, like this shit is gonna get brushed on the carpet until like it becomes R. Kelly like status, and that's when everyone's gonna be scrambling.
Look how long it took R. Kelly to get to R. Kelly status.
Yeah,
Look how long that
that's
took.
the thing.
It's just
That's
like
the
men are just detrimental to everybody, to women and to other men.
Yeah.
Like you'll go crazy in this world,
gosh.
you know, man. If you go crazy in this world, if you don't just close your eyes and sleep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was really depressing, but important at the same time. Very important.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are we doing next?
So next we are doing I Want My Sex Back. Is that what my sex back?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm bringing sexy back. Meow. Not
the boys don't know how to act.
Yeah. Except this is a lot more serious. Actually, it's about transgendered people who want to detransition, so to go back to their original gender.
Yeah.
Which I think will be quite interesting. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm quite excited to watch it.
Yeah, I am as well.
Because it's such a life-changing decision. That's like, how do you actually, like, I always thought it must be wild, like, to, I mean, maybe not actually, because it's like you feel that's who you are. It's
Yeah,
like
I was literally just thinking that, like, if I woke up and I felt like, okay, that I was meant to be a guy, I might live, especially in today's society, I might live my life as a guy and just maybe not do any physical changes, because I am very risk averse. So I might wake up next, like, in a month, and it's not that I'm flip-floppy, but I just would consider all things and be like, no, you know what? I'll live my life as a man, and I want people to identify. Yeah, but I wouldn't do any physical or hormonal changes.
I think, obviously, I don't know, but I would feel as though, like, say for example, I'm a man.
We're talking too much. We have to save this for what the fuck are we going to say on the next episode?
That's true. But basically, I feel like it's true actually.
Yeah, no. We've said
next
too
time
much.
On Two Girls One Duck.
Where can the people then find you?
So you can find us on Instagram and Twitter, Two Girls One Duck. Facebook, Two Girls One Duck. YouTube, Two Girls One Duck. TikTok, Two Girls One Duck _. Or is it _ Two Girls One Duck?
No, I think it's Two Girls One Duck. Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BD on Eyewear. And bdoneyewear.com. And where can they find you?
Instagram and Twitter, 4 ends with 2 underscores, and my other podcast, Character Replay.
And also At the End of the Aisle.
I've stopped saying that because, child, I don't know when this wedding is happening.
I don't know how you manage.
I haven't planned one thing, so
I don't know.
Child, you see me at the end of the hour when you see me, okay?
Yeah, we didn't say when, we just said where.
Yeah, well,
time TBC.
Yeah, literally.
All right, guys. Well,
TBD. Do you remember when Michael said that? Fuck me. There are too many Office references. All right, guys. See you later.
I'm gonna play the trailer. Well, is there a trailer? I'll make one. For the I Want My Sex Back. Okay. I'm bringing sexy back. Ew.
Oh.
Okay. Ugh, I hate that guy. Sorry, guys, forgive me.
Yeah.
Even sang it twice.
I do hate him. I tried to skip his music.
I like his music. I like his music.
Yeah.
I can't deny.
Yeah, I do skip it sometimes because it just reminds me of all the shit he's done. But...
It just makes me angry.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
10, 9, 8.
So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh.
7, 6, 5, 4, I was born a male. I started living as a female when I was 19 years old, had a sex change when I was 30 years old. I've now been living as a woman for 28 years, and I fully regret this.
Nobody can change genders. It's impossible. It's delusional. It's a mental illness.
Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man.
Once I finally had the surgery, I went, oh, this was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do to cut off my male anatomy.
The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh."
The fact of the matter is that 40% of people who are attempting suicide are people who regret ever changing genders.
Lift off, Falcon 9.